All right, YouTube, how you doing? Welcome back to the channel. It is Wednesday, April 17th. We got the Bulls taking on the Hawks in this play-in matchup video. We have the other game, the Heat and the Sixers, as its own video already posted on the channel at the time you're watching this. So if you're looking for that game, go ahead and check that out. But yeah, we're diving into the Bulls taking on the Hawks. This is a win or go home situation for these two teams. The Bulls at home as the 9 seed. They're also 3-point favorites, going up against the Hawks here as the 10 seed. 3-point dogs, and the total sitting at 223. We'll get into my lean on the spread, my lean on the total, and I have 3 player props that I'm considering for today's game as well. But as always, guys, keep an eye on the pinned comment for all of my final plays. In terms of how we made out last night, not too bad. We went 3-3. We did have the plus money hits of Herb Jones, as well as our same game parlay that we cashed over on BetMGM. So kind of a man night. Would like to be better, but nothing that is going to kill us there. The total, I thought that Lakers game was looking like it was going to go over at one point, and then just kind of crapped out on us. And from a ride of the day perspective, I talked about this at the end of the other video. Kind of lucky here. So I picked a ride of the day. I screenshotted it, tweeted it out, so I thought, and then left my place. And I guess at the time of, probably the Wi-Fi switching over to data or whatever cell phone works, it never sent. The tweet went to drafts, it never sent, and the ride of the day lost. So I'm not going to give the shout out to the person that lost because they don't even know who they are. So we'll do the ride of the day again today. Use hashtag ride of the day in the comments, but consider me a man of the people. I dodged a bullet for all of us here by not tweeting it out. So use that hashtag ride of the day, and I'll be jumping on board with one person's pick, giving you a shout out in the next video, win or loss. And it's just one ride of the day. So between this video and the other NBA video, all welcome. So go ahead and drop your favorite plays in those videos. But like I said, guys, we do have a lean on the spread as well as a lean on the total. We'll start on the spread side of things. And I'm going to look at the favorite here, the Chicago Bulls. Atlanta, they're getting healthier. I get it. They get Trae Young back. Clint Capella is a little banged up, but no Johnson for them. Noah Kongu is kind of like a big deal in my opinion. And Trae Young hasn't looked like absolutely stellar since coming back, obviously. So I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, it's a big boost. Like, this is fully DeJounte Murray's team. Like, I'd say that till the day I die. Like, it's not Trae Young's team anymore. Or I guess it's maybe easy to say that, no kidding, now that we have some evidence in front of us. So maybe in the playoff Trae does, go icy Trae. But for right now, for all intents and purposes, DeJounte Murray's team. So Trae Young's not making this whole, huge shift for me, if that makes sense. So the Bulls really should be, one, the better defensive team when it comes to, points per game and just the defense overall. We know that, right? But they're even a more efficient offense to some degree than Atlanta, and they closed out the season in the last 10 games as a way more efficient offense as well. Atlanta headed into this play-in with 6 straight losses. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that they were easy games. They played Charlotte in one of them, but the other 5 of those 6 were Dallas, Denver, Miami, Minnesota, Indiana. So I understand that, I could say, oh, they came in with 6 straight losses. It's like, yeah, 5 of those against playoff teams. Whereas Chicago ends off the season here losing, I think it was 3 out of their last 5 or something like that too. And they had a couple cupcake games, so they lost their good games as well. But overall, when it comes down to it, this is the perfect sort of recipe for the more disciplined defensive team to win this game. Just due to the fact that Atlanta isn't very efficient even with the pace that they play at, right? If they were a team that was playing with crazy pace and playing with some serious offensive efficiency, then I could consider it. But I just can't get there on the Atlanta side. So by default, we're looking at Chicago, the more defensive team. They can control the pace. I think they have an answer for what Atlanta may want to do. My one concern is a big issue of Chicago is the above the break 3, which we know Atlanta has started to, and getting Trae Young back certainly is going to be another boost there, taking a lot of those and making a lot of them between Bogey, DeJounte, and, Trae Young, like I said, coming back. So that could be an issue, but everything else, if we look at this from a points in the paint battle or a rebound rate, or like I said, offensive and defensive efficiency, like Chicago should have the upper hand in this spot. And then the favorite for the reason, the 9 seed for the reason in this spot. In terms of the total, I wanted to go over because I was like, all right, Atlanta, they could push the pace and all that, but I do truly think that this is going to be a spot in which Chicago just kind of controls the pace and everything like that. So I'm going to lean towards the under in this spot. But like I said, something about this looks like Atlanta could up the tempo and Chicago sticks with them, and we end with like a 115 to 110 game. And it's like, oh, that felt low scoring, but went over by a couple points. So if I had to pick one or the other, the total or the spread, I probably would lean towards Chicago, who also won 2 of the 3 matchups, one of those being in Atlanta, one of those wins this season. And they kind of won. They covered this line in both of their wins there. When Atlanta did beat them, it was a 113-101 win. That was at the beginning of April. So recent history tells you Atlanta may be able to hang with them, but I'm going to take Chicago in this spot. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see if that makes its way into being a final play here. Let's get into player props, and we have one lock to talk about here. So Trae Young over 0.5 points. Not to tip my hand here, but we do have a Trae Young player prop coming up. But this one's a separate one. Over on Sleeper, new line of 0.5 points is normal line at 22.5. Use the link in the pinned comment, guys. Go sign up for Sleeper. You're going to have a blast playing on this app throughout the playoffs. It's a player prop app. You can combine two or more player props in the slip, and the more you win, the more you get paid out. And they're dropping discount squares all the time. So this one's for new users today. You also get your first deposit match. So if you want to put in $100 or $200, I think they're still doing it up to $500. They'll double your deposit on the spot, and you'll have a new account balance of double whatever you wanted to put in. So there's a deal in and of itself. But they're offering discounts like you read about. They do a bunch of Wednesday discounts. So I wouldn't be surprised if they drop some Wednesday discounts for these games tonight. Go check it out for yourself. If it's available in your state and you're not on Sleeper, you're missing out on a great app. Go check it out, guys. That link is in the pinned comment. Make sure to find it and sign up there. All right, let's jump into some player props here. And like I said, we're talking Trae Young. I like his over 0.5 points over on Sleeper, but I think I'm looking at his under 23.5 points in this game. Now, part of this is a field play. We do have the data to back it, but I'm going to be honest. Part of this is a field play in a sense that I do believe that this is. I know we've seen playoff Trae Young and all that in the past. This is DeJounte Murray's team, in my opinion. Now, I don't know if Trae Young's going to immediately come in and be like, "Hey, I'm the big you know what in the locker room." I don't see that happening. In the 3 games that Trae Young's been back for, one of them he barely played in a minute, so throw that one out. The 2 most recent games, DeJounte Murray has still shot more than him, and I would consider his under PRA or under points plus assists, but I could see Trae Young being like a legitimate point guard in this game. I'm not saying he's going to have a terrible game, but to go out there and get 24 points, I think he sticks right around that 20 to 21 range. If you wanted to get some plus money on it, I still don't mind under 22.5. Now, Trae Young is like a vindictive little son of a gun here, so he probably sees this video, which obviously all the players watch this video, and he's like, oh, you're saying I'm to go under? He's probably going to drop 30,000 tonight against Chicago. But you could see, he's been all 3 games this season against Chicago. He stayed under the mark. He crushed it earlier in the year, but again, we're looking at specific games and specific matchups, the 4th best defense against point guards. And if we want to look at his last 10 games, like even before he was out, it really wasn't the best scoring for him. Now, you could say he's playing injured and blah, blah, blah. But either way, season long, yeah, this was Trae Young's team, right? End of the year, DeJounte Murray's team. And maybe that's just a field play and whatnot, but I don't mind it. Look at his teammate here, Bogdan Bogdanovic. I do think that this is a play that I really like. I hate the odds, so maybe this is a guy that we could put in some sort of a same-game parlay or something like that. But give me the over 2.5 3-pointers made. Chicago allowing more threes than anybody to the shooting guard position. He's going to play, obviously, more small forward and stuff like that. But if we want to flash over here to the dashboard we have, you could see Chicago. Like I said, above the break 3. That green means they're allowing plenty. That is not a very good spot for Bogdanovic, who's definitely going to take a few of those. So I like his over 2.5 3-pointers made there as well. This is head-to-head against them. He had 34 minutes played, only shot 2 threes here and made both of them, and his 1 miss in his last 7 against the Heat here. Last 10, kind of been spotty, but the attempts have been there. He's taken 10 attempts on some nights, so I think he's going to try and score tonight. And then Ayo Dosunmu, I think that he's going to kind of be the forgotten about player on the Chicago team. They're going to worry about DeMar. They'll worry about, obviously Kobe. And then I think Ayo's and Vucevic. I think Ayo's going to be the guy that can score, 14 plus points for them tonight. He did it in all 3 games this season, 19, 29, and 15 against Atlanta. And I don't mind him running if this game does take sort of a kick for the pace to go up. You know what I mean? So give me these 3 player props. Keep an eye on the pinned comment to see what we end up rolling with. I do like all of those, obviously. If you guys do want access to the tool we were just looking at, that's called Outlier. I have a link for 7 days free in the pinned comment as well. It's super price where it's not expensive whatsoever after that. $19.99 a month if you're worried about, I sign up for a free trial and then, well, what do I have to do? What's the catch? not much. Like, you're probably spending over 20 bucks on Starbucks this month, right? So go check it out, guys. In terms of our recap for the season, if you missed that one, we were up 64, almost 63.8 units on the season. 35 of those units came from player props, and this is the first year that I've fully started to work with Outlier and the tool. So I don't think that that's a coincidence whatsoever. So go check it out, guys. And also make sure, again, to go ahead and check out this Sleeper Square. Sleeper's a great app. I've been using that for years at this point too. You see me on Instagram, on Twitter, on TikTok with those shorts plays. So go ahead and check that out. But guys, that's going to wrap for today's show. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, drop me a comment. Hit me with 10.5. You made it 10 minutes, 30 seconds into this video. I like doing these specific game videos as well because we can kind of deep dive a little bit more. I can give, 3 player props or something like that. So we may do some more of this throughout the playoffs. I'll be in Mexico next week too, so I don't know if we'll be able to do all these multiple videos for the legit playoffs, but we're gonna do our damn best. We have no fear of grinding to get a bunch of content out. That's been kind of our MO since day one. So hope you guys do enjoy, and we'll catch you guys in the next one, right? Peace out.